Guertin's Chris Cameron joining us this morning. Coach, thanks for making the time. How you feeling this morning, the day after the defeat?
Not good, but that's life. Learning life lessons. As Chris just gave out to his team, hold your head high. It was a great run. It was going to end eventually, and I just think that and I told Brian after the game, I said the better team won last night, and they were the better team. They played better, and I don't want to say all aspects of the game, but many aspects of the game, they were the better team, and they certainly deserved to win, and that's Tinker. And, we could break it down for hours, because I certainly did that last night, seeing what we could have done better. But there were a lot of things that we could have done better. But Pinkerton, just overall, I would say the biggest thing that they did was their team defense that improved from the May matchup was the difference. I also think our goalie, Colin Casey, who had a rough go against bounced back and was very strong. So, he's a guy that stood out. And then,
he had a huge first half. He played great.
He did. He kept us, we were a team of runs all year. And sometimes you are what you are. You could keep talking about playing 48 minutes, but if you're not doing it by the semifinals of the season, you can't all of a sudden do it in the finals. But that being said, Pinkerton certainly did that last night. But we just couldn't get. We could have been up 5. We could have been 5-0 at one point, and we could never really build that lead. I don't think we ever were leading by more than one. And they just hung around, and you could just see as the longer they hung around, the more they started believing, and the more confidence that they started playing. And they played physical. They played very physical. It was a game that some things were called tight, and other things they let go. So it was and they let them play, and they certainly, especially loose balls, as I think it was very physical.
Again, Chris Cameron joining us on the phone. BG losing in the championship yesterday at the D1 final by a score of 9-7. Tough, Coach, to continue to beat a Pinkerton team that traditionally has been very tough, right? It'd be one thing to maybe lose to a team that doesn't have as much prestige as the one you lost to in the Astros last night. That being said, how did the seniors take it? They were so used to winning, so used to being crowned champion at the end of the season, to fall just a little bit short. I'm sure it must have been heartbreaking, but what was your group of seniors? What was their response last night after the defeat?
Yeah, their response needed to, and right when it happened, right when we beat Stohegan, and our whole team watched Bedford and Pinkerton, and I could just see it in their eyes, like, this is over. And I told them from the very first practice of the season, I'm never going to lie to them. I'm never going to tell you that you need to be ready for this opponent, when you win 20-0. I always tell them when it's real. And right. I told them that this Pinkerton team that you saw back in May is not the same team. I could just see it. I could see it in all areas of the game, and so I don't think they bought in. I don't think they believe me on that. And we didn't play. A lot of guys showed up, but there were a few guys that didn't. And when you're not a deep team like we've been in years past, if a few guys don't show up, Pinkerton took advantage of that. They knew our guys inside and out. They forced us to do what we can. And but to answer the question, sorry, how the seniors say it's tough. Because they don't want to be the ones that lose that. They wanted to be the third class in a row that won 4 straight state championships, and it just obviously didn't go our way. But it was tough. Anytime you lose, and especially when you're a big favorite and the run you're on, it was tough for the kids, and I feel for them. But that's something that I told them you got to learn from it, and and hopefully they will, because that's what sports is, and they'll get over it, and hopefully they'll be better for it. And because back in 2009, we were undefeated. And lost to Hanover undefeated in New Hampshire, and lost to Hanover in the championship. And after the game, and we had most of our team coming back, and I said to the seniors, great job, great careers. And I said, for those guys that are coming back, remember this feeling. And that was, something that it resonated through the next 5-6 years of not letting that happen again, because our 2010 team just played like they were a team on a mission. And so that's what I told these guys after the game. I said, remember this feeling. and let's go to work tomorrow. Start getting ready for next season, and that's what we're going to do. And next year, we had a lot coming back, and it wasn't the strongest talented group. I just think that Pinkerton developed over the course of the season more than us. I think that Duxbury loss really did a number on our psyche. We never really recovered from that because that was a game that was so important for us. And when you look at Pinkerton, yesterday in the morning were the U15 state championships, and two of the feeder programs for Pinkerton are the two best U15 teams in the state, in Hampstead and Derry. I mean, so with their 3,500 kids, and they have two unbelievable feeder programs. The Odgers running the Hampstead program, and then J.L. Sweeney and Roy Tereski running the Derry program. I mean, they're just going to have so many kids coming in the years to come where they're going to be. I mean, they're going to be back. I mean, I think 2006, not I think 2006 the last state championship, but they're going to be the team that everyone's going to be chasing for a while, because they just have obviously they're a pretty young team yesterday too, so they're going to be back, and they have just a load of talent coming in through the years because of the youth program and that they have coming.
Coach, just to circle back for a second, I was sitting in the stands with my parents in the first half, and you had mentioned the style of play and the way it was being called. Do you think the physicality of the game changed things a little bit? Do you think that you think that sort of lent towards more of a Pinkerton style, what they wanted to do yesterday, just the way the refs were kind of, because I turned to my parents at one point and we both looked at each other and I said, wow, they are letting them play right now. And
you let them play, and then all of a sudden you get a little ticky-tack, unnecessary roughness call. So it was tough to get. You play to have the games rest, and they were letting them play. I don't think we're a team. We matched up physically with them. So It wasn't like we were intimidated. But I do think that we don't play as physical as them. We're a team. This is the fewest penalties that one of my BG teams has ever taken. We just don't go in the box that often, so we don't play that type level. So I do think that the way it was officiated, letting them play, was definitely to their advantage, and that's the way they play. They like they got some guys who like to go and hit, and it was certainly within the rules, and I do think that did have an outcome, especially on some loose balls. When you're playing a tight game like that, and then the 50-50 balls start going to them, that was a difference, yes.
Yeah.
Again, Coach Cameron is our guest. Bishop Guertin's reign as Division I champs came to an end last night as Pinkerton gets a 9-7 victory. Well, Coach, you mentioned at the top of the interview that you spent some hours last night, and I believe every word, by the way, breaking down that game film and trying to highlight some things that maybe you guys could have done differently. What jumped out at you? Short list. What's at the top of the list that you would like to fix if you could go back 24 hours?
Yeah. I didn't break down the film. I just broke down the game in my head.
Even better.
Even better. Yeah. So, and I had a companion. My son Brian was with me last night, just going through every play, and I was talking with Coach Salsh a little bit via text, and the thing is, it's like, sometimes I put the stick in my hand and I hop in and I show them, and it looks so easy. Like, look, there it is. So so sometimes maybe what I see or what Coach Salt sees, the kids aren't seeing it. So obviously that's coaching. So we needed to do. And one of the things that we wanted to focus on this year was, instead of living by the alley shots, the 10 and 12 yard shots that you could live or die by. We wanted to get easy shots in the crease, and that's what we had a lot of success with this year. So I would say that what we needed to have done better was, as soon as our middies would dodge, they were sending one and sometimes two guys. That means that people are open on the backside, but we were not able to find them. So that's part of us, not getting the right spots, not moving it quick enough, but it's also really good recovery defense, because there's a few ways you could play. You could just stay home and not slide at all, or you could slide like crazy. But when you slide like crazy, you're going to give up inside shots, and that's what I thought we could have gotten. So, we changed sets a few times. We tried a lot of different things. We had a lot of time off, so we had some different plays, and we did try it all. So I don't know what exactly we could have done, but I would say the biggest thing was just finding ways to beat their overzealous slide defense, and we just couldn't do it. That would be the one thing that we could have improved on, and I just we just didn't have an answer last night for that.
Coach, overall, obviously a really good season. A little bit disappointing at the end, or a lot of it disappointing at the end. But overall, who are some of your guys that you're going to look for to step up in the offseason here that are coming back next year? Who are you going to be leaning on to get these guys back motivated?
We mentioned Hendricks, and then you have Charlie O'Brien, who was the offensive player of the year. I mean, those two, and then another guy who runs on one of the first team lines is John Bruno. He was back after being out for 2 weeks with a broken hand, so that's a solid first line need. And then you have Nick Jr., another first-team All-Stater on attack. And then Cam Holt on defense. And then Jack McNallen, another first. So, Cam Holt.
Very solid core coming back. Yeah.
Jack McNallen's first-team All-State. So, we got a lot of core coming back. But, there's some holes there that, we're going to need to, guys are going to need to improve. And, so that's the core of the guys. I'm probably missing some guys, but those are the core guys that we have, and no one's going to cry poor for us because we certainly have a lot of guys that are in the program, and we'll be back. I certainly going to put the label on Pinker as a favorite, but I think you're going to have a much overall improved Division I lacrosse because Strategan's going to be much improved, Leonard's going to be improved. I think you're going to have 5 teams that are going to be battling for position all year.
Looking at Bedford's roster, they still got guys coming back. They're going to be they'll still be in the mix too. So
and the Bedford's going to be good for years with the youth program that we have here in town. I mean, there's so many kids that are coming through there, so they're going to be good. We'll be good. Pinkerton's going to be good, and I think it's going to be those 5 teams again. So I know you're going to be good too, Coach. That was a heartbreaking as a fan for you. You guys played. I mean,
we almost did it. We almost willed it out. We almost had it.
Better team for the second half. One of those things, the guy catches the ball in the crease and finishes it. And then they're coming back the other way, and that game easily could have gone either way. A lot like our game. But that's.
What do you think, Coach? Should I have held it for the last 20 seconds? What do you think?
I would have held it for the last 20 seconds. I mean, just because.
Yeah.
Because of something like that. I mean, the way, the game was going. I mean, but the other side of that was they barely got any shots off in the second half. I give them credit. It was a good play call. They set that pick. The switch came at a bad angle, and they got the shot off. You guys are playing the type defense where you couldn't give up any shots, and I thought you did that great in the second half. But that's what I would have held. I just don't want to give them a chance to win it. I mean, but you're out of timeouts. I thought you used your timeouts wisely, so it wasn't like, how do you with the crowd noise? How do you tell your guys to hold for the last shot? But it was the right speed. It wasn't a jam speed.
No, it was great. It was a good look.
Speed, yeah.
So, all right, Coach. Well, anything you want to send out to your guys? Any last motivation for the upcoming season if they're listening?
No, they'll get plenty of that from me.
Okay.
Honestly, it was a great run, and it was a great group of seniors. We'll certainly miss them, and I know they're going to go on to the bigger and better things. I look forward to following their college careers for sure.
Coach, we had a blast this season. We appreciate you phoning in one last time, and have a safe travel down to Baltimore as it's officially now, I suppose, day 1 of the off season, right?
Day 1, the summer circuit starts tonight. I was a little bit worried when the power went out today for the last time. Going, oh no, they're going to be playing this game tomorrow. That just ran through my head, real quick. But it was just one of those nights like that, But yeah, no, I loved every minute coming in the studio. I look forward to doing it next year. Too professional, Nick. Thank you.
Thanks. Sounds good, Coach. Good luck. We'll talk soon.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
That's again Coach Cameron at the airport, heading down to Baltimore for